Hola, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Delaney Fana, and this is Fana Talks, where I center on the emotional and psychological dimensions of our everyday lives. Today's episode, I'm going to get messy with my hands and a little honest with my conversation. Not a little honest, very honest. Very honest, very open, very vulnerable. This episode is honoring Atumima, my baby. I have showcased Atumima in many exhibitions, and this painting first was really revealed in its entirety in my first solo show. So my first solo show was called I'll Cry About This Heaven in Earth Too. I'll Cry About This Earth in Heaven Too. It's a quote by a poet, a Russian poet. And Atumima, is a huge catalyst as to where I am today, the woman that I am today, and the woman that I am honoring and becoming and developing into today. So, let's get started. So, Atumima it's a Spanish rooted word. And in Spanish, there are a lot of different dialects. There's Dominicans that speak Spanish. There's Mexicans that speak Spanish. People from Guatemala, Colombia, all of that, right? But with Dominicans, we are very special because we like to chop words up and shorten it up, and we speak like slang, so they say. And Atumima to me means ponte en lo tuyo. And it's in the name itself. Atumisma. Atumisma, like focus on you, focus on what it is that you have to do. Focus on your boundaries, focus on Delaney, right? And this name came up for me in, what was it, like February of 2025. I'm going to open up about an experience that I was having. In one of my previous episodes, I said that I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil and did not understand what was going on, and all this crying and like asking of questions and confusion was all going on, right? And I was highly sensitive. Like I'm a sensitive person to energy, right? Pero this time was really intense. And so the word Atumima kept coming up to me because I felt intuitively that I had to continue to focus on myself. Like I had to focus on what it was that God had me, really missioned here to do. And yeah, there's a certain calling that I had. And I don't think that I was really listening to that fully or really seeing the gift that I had. And so Atumima kept coming up. Atumima, Atumima, Atumima. And this was in the month of February. And so starting in February, I got my monthly, right? She was just like all emotional, all feeling the feels. And so that was also a time where I was really emotional, and I was kind of like pleading for support or emotional support in a way where I was like, I don't know if I can do this alone. Like I genuinely need like support, and I don't know why I'm feeling all these emotions. And so I feel like I was moving out of desperation, And I wasn't really getting that support that I felt like I was getting. And so I had to find ways to give it to myself. And month of Ramadan came. I was still sitting with that feeling. My cycle extended. I'm asking all these questions. I'm super emotional. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. And so, long behold, I was experiencing a miscarriage. I was experiencing a whole chemical pregnancy. And I did not know. I didn't know what the heck this was. I didn't know what any of that meant. I didn't know that that was what was going on with me. And it's not spoken about a lot what chemical pregnancies are, or because you're really just speaking about you're aware more of a miscarriage other than a chemical pregnancy. You don't really hear of that. Well, I didn't really hear of that. I didn't know what that was. And upon further research and confirmation, that's what I was going through, man. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when I found out in the moment, because I knew something was happening with me, but I didn't know what. And I didn't know how to put it into words. I didn't know, and I felt like every, person or, that I was going to and expressed all of this to, was like, oh, like, it's just changes. It's like, and I was like, nah, like this is something different. So, I got the news, when that happened, and immediately, like, it felt like a punch in the gut, but it was like so confirming with me that that's what was happening, and all the side effects that I was feeling, all the emotions, all of, like, it's still grief. It's still a loss, And while I was experiencing this, Atumima, this is all her. This is all my inner child. This is not even me. Like, she was fierce as fuck. Like, she was like demanding to be heard. She was demanding to be like seen, and demanding like, yo, like, y'all not listening to me. Y'all, like, what is going on? What? And all these questions, like a child, for real. And has protected me in ways where only Allah knows, for real. She saved me in so many different situations. And she was a huge stepping stone for me, because life has never been the same after that. And it, like, the grief comes in waves, and it comes so randomly. It doesn't just come like when I'm speaking about her. It doesn't come like when I'm around women speaking about their miscarriages as well. It doesn't, like, it comes in the most random places. And one of the places I remember distinctively that it came was when there were 2 times I got booked maybe a month after. Yeah, like maybe a month or two after, to facilitate in a school trip, right? So the kids were coming along to a painting center, to get hosted by Delaney on their school trip to paint. What was it? The story was The Hungry Caterpillar. And I remember vividly loving that book when I was a little girl. I remember, ooh, I just got chills. I remember like that's one of my, it's my guy. Let's just put it like that. And the teacher was reading the book, and I was standing behind all the students. They were sitting on that rainbow fabric-y circle sheet, blanket. And I remember looking at these kids from the back of their heads and them just like looking up and being so curious. And I was like, oh my God, like they're really enjoying this book. And then that turned to, oh my God, they're really enjoying this book. And then I just started crying because I was in so much gratitude. And I'm like, girl, why are you crying? Like, and then I remember it just was like, it just hit me because I literally lost a baby. And it just, I didn't have or didn't give myself the time to really sit with it because I'm now back working. And granted, I don't consider my career with artwork, I don't consider it that. It's just like, whoa, girl, like this is very soon. and then with that, I was like, all right, like I gotta kind of chill. I gotta lay low. So that was like in April. And then May came. And May is Mother's Day. And then Mother's Day, I wasn't planning to do anything. I wasn't like, I was like, I'm gonna just stay home and I'm gonna eat this ice cream. I'm gonna watch these romantic, sad movies. I'm gonna cry. I was like literally scheduling a time to grieve. And then my grandmother was like, oh, I want you to facilitate a art class and an art workshop for the kids in my church. And this was before I took my shahada, so in the month of May. And so I went and we painted, flowers for their mom. And I was so happy and so sad at the same time. I was like, damn, like Mother's Day is hitting a little bit different this year. Yeah, it was not fun at all. It was fun to teach them and to, like make them laugh and be in presence of children, but I was not happy. I was not like, and I don't know why I took all that time to surround myself still and take the that opportunity to be around people if I wasn't really in the space to. But Allah has a really funny way of still like reminding you like, hey, I know that you experienced this. You are still wanted and you are still seen. You are still loved. You are not what I sent to you or took from you. And yeah, that's what it really reminded me of in that moment. So there's a huge lesson in that too, like learning more. I was like, I just came to a conclusion. Give yourself the time to grieve. You just went through all this emotional turmoil, as I like to say, and you still, like, you still not, like, you know, being graceful with yourself, with your body. Ponte a lo tuyo. Hey, like, Atumima, like, a tu misma. Focus on you. Cause I can't continue to do all these events if I'm not good. If it's just, it doesn't add up. Yeah. Yeah. And I I really do honor that part of Delaney. Because that inner child don't gotta run the show no more. That's what I've learned. And it can be Delaney now. Like, Delaney can focus on what's hers, and she don't have to act out of desperation. She doesn't have to want to be heard emotionally, or, you know, like, she doesn't have to want that. Like, she can focus on the people who are, the people who are loving on her and wanting that depth of who Delaney is, and being okay with that, being in gratitude of that, because she's still seen. She's still seen. She's still heard. And yeah. It came up for me recently, like maybe 2 months ago as well. Like, I remember that feeling of me just, like, getting emotional for no reason. Like, it came up for me 2 months ago, and this was November. So it's like, it's periodically, like, it happens in the most random moments, and then it came up again, but in someone else. Ooh, I feel warmth. That's crazy. A friend of mine, a really close friend, a loved one of mine, came up to me and was like, "Hey, Delaney, like, are you a mom?" And I was like, "Who sent you?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "No, why?" She was like, "I don't know. I just see you. Like, I know you work with kids, but I just see you with a 3-year-old girl or 3-year-old daughter." And I was like, "Oh, what you looking at?" Like, she just, you know, like, traveling with me everywhere, and I don't even know it. She's supposed to be resting. She's supposed to be, you know, she could rest, she can play now in the flower fields of daffodils and everything. And I was like, "No, I don't have a daughter physically, you know, here. I had a miscarriage though." And I said it in such a, ooh, like, "Oh yeah, I had a," and she was like, "What?" And in that moment I was like, yeah. Yeah, I had a miscarriage. And then, like, we had to, because it was within a workshop, and we had to do something else within the workshop. It was a very short conversation, and our next exercise, she just came crying to me, and she was like, "I just wish that you were more honest, or you are more honest with where you are in your life, because I didn't know that you experienced that." And then in that moment, that's when I realized, I was like, "Oh, you're not healed from it because you say, 'Oh yeah, I had a miscarriage.' Like, that's not something to really, like, you know, like, that's not something to bypass. You get to speak about that." And that's what I learned. I get to honor my story and, you know, what I've experienced, and still stand in light. However, people want to see me. People don't really know Delaney. And Frida Kahlo did not sell her painting for what, like 50 something billion dollars, just because she knew how to blend. She didn't. It was because of her story. She shared her whole heart. And I claim Frida Kahlo to be one of my inspirations. So, and I see a lot of similarities in her story too. People have said my work kind of like favors her, and that's not the goal. However, it's the story. And if people don't know your story, they're not going to really connect with you. So I had to sit with that for myself. And I'm like, where am I not being authentic? Where am I not like, okay, yeah, you're being authentic in what you do and what you provide, but there was still something there. There was like a disconnect there. And I think it was, up until now, a fear of being fully seen or like vulnerable. But all of that tension and all that carrying gets very heavy sometimes. And at some point you just let your hair down. Not me, because I'm wearing the hijab, but you just, you just want to release, and you want to really share what you've been through, because my goal is to share my story and to have other Dominican women or just women of color or Muslim women as well to connect with me, and say, hey, I know what you're going through, or hey, I know a group circle where you can talk about these things, and they get it. Because you just never know, and that's why I am slowly but surely like getting out of that shell, because it's really easy for someone to be like, oh my God, like, I just want to get to know you. Like, tell me everything. When that person never really practiced that. Like, it takes time, and people move at their own pace. And while I'm still a very open person for everyone, for myself, it's a practice. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for Atumima. Oh my God. That felt like such a whirlwind. It felt like an episode. It felt like everything before Atumima and before that happened felt like an episode. And I felt like I was just observing myself and not really living. And when I say like she's saved my life from continuously being that observer and continuously being that person that's like, like the continuous giver and like wanting something and trying to pull something that is that void. Like, it's like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Alhamdulillah, I'm super, super grateful. So it is painful at times, because I am an early childhood educator, and I will never, ever, ever stop guiding children. I just know it. I know that that's my calling. It's just very funny. It's very interesting that happened. And I still get to show up for myself in times when I need breaks, in times when I need time with the children, and I get to vocalize that and honor that part of me now, that I didn't really have access fully to. There's just certain tools now that I'm able to apply more. And yeah, she's a warrior, man. She's really a warrior, and I love her so much for that. It's like the proof is in the pudding. She moves with her heart. The heart is super activated. Even if she's fighting, she's doing it out of love for herself, for her mama. Like, she's protected me, right? She's already done all of that, but now she gets to just chill. She gets to just chill. And inshallah, I'll meet her one day. Oh, I'll have so much fun. We'll have so much fun. Inshallah. So, yeah, there are a lot of feelings to still work through. I'm just staying very present with where I am right now, and with what she has taught me. So that's my story with Atumima, And, you who are watching this, if you either experienced it or you know someone that has experienced something like this, and you see them kind of like isolate or retreat, and know that it's nothing personal, it's nothing to take personal. It's like a sign to still check up on community, because you just never know what people are going through. And yeah, that's really the depth of this painting. That's why I share it so much on Instagram. And this will, for some time, this will be my first choice in gallery submissions. This will always be my first choice, because she's been choosing me all this time. And just know that you are not alone, whoever this is resonating with. And it doesn't have to be the experience that I expressed just now. It can be something else. Know that I'm an open ear, an open heart, open book. And we got each other. Like, we walk around here like if we don't be going through all these things that are very similar to one another. And the most that we can do is show up for ourselves so that we can show up for other people. Thank you so much for seeing me fully and just receiving me and listening to more of my story, because I'm about to blow up. I'm not going through all of this without a bag. Something gotta give. But as long as I stay focused and continue to share my heart, inshallah. So, yeah. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you so, so much for seeing me. And I'll see you at another episode of Fana Talks.